Okay. Yes, the recording is in progress. So, yes, we will be on page 10. We'll be on page 10, but just to go back on something we were discussing yesterday. Yesterday, we were discussing the Machaber and the Ramah. Yeah, the Machaber and the Ramah were discussing things that we should say in the morning. And one of them is the Machaber said, the Shulchan Aruch said, that's good to say the Akedah, the thing about the Aman, Aseres HaDibros, right? So we saw whole Ramah that you don't say this but Tzibor, right? You only say it privately, and we discussed why not. Why shouldn't we say some of these things publicly? So we were focusing on at the end yesterday about Aseres HaDibros. So why don't we say Aseres HaDibros publicly? Answer is the Mishnah Berurah brought down. Chazal say because we're worried about the kofrim, those heretics, that they'll say there's only Aseres HaDibros and the rest of the Torah there's nothing else, just Aseres HaDibros. So again we could discuss that. How, honor your father and your mother. How, right? Right? Well, let's leave that for the main time, right? Like we talked about on the 15th. Like all those signs that they have somewhere in the middle of the desert there, they have the Ten Commandments, everything. So anyways, so that's what we discussed yesterday. We discussed that yesterday. And again, that's to say it publicly in a minyan setting or in the middle of davening setting. But again, to say privately, and that's why you see in many sturim, after chakras, they have the man, they have the Aseres HaDibros, they have the 6 things you should remember. We'll talk about that too, Amir Tzarsham Bliner. But I just want to spend a couple minutes about, because it's coming up soon, about Aseres HaDibros, right? We're starting Sefer Shmos, Parsha Shmos this week. So Yisro is coming up, and that's we're learning about Yisro on this week's Parsha, and that's setting us up for a Kabbalas Torah in a few weeks. So Rav Moshe has an interesting tshuva in Orach Chaim, in Yigos Moshe, Orach Chaim Chelek Dalet Siman Chaf Beis. And he discusses about that according to this idea that we're discussing, that there's a concern that we see in halacha that people could say, Aseres HaDibros, it's only that's the only Torah. That's it, right? That's it. So then Rav Moshe discusses, I don't know what they do here. I'm new here, but how about standing during us when they Lain Aseres HaDibros, right? Right, they did in my shul in LA, right? Other time, yeah, Shavuos, so it's twice in a year. Again, they might do it for other times also. Az Yashir coming up soon. So Rav Moshe says that even though we have this issue about the worry that the minim would say, the heretics would say, that there's only the Aseres HaDibros, but still he says you're allowed to stand. The minog, the custom to stand during Aseres HaDibros is okay. And let's say somebody comes, I don't know, I mean, the consensus here is, right? Ginsburg shul here, my shul in LA, you should stand for Aseres HaDibros. It seems like it's pretty good. But if you came from a place where they did not stand for Aseres HaDibros, right, in Vaskanan and in Yisro and Vaskanan, so then, in other words, your shul had a custom not to stand. So all of a sudden you come here, and it's one of those parshas, and there's a so should you stand? So he says you should.
To look at places.
That's right. He says you shouldn't deviate from the minhag. Again, it's a general. You all know that, and you all said it. You shouldn't deviate from wherever the minhag is in that place. Now, again, this gets a little dicey because I don't know. I've noticed here also, but a lot of places there isn't such a clear minhag in certain things. Believe it or not, some people were talking to me about that, about writing down like a formal thing of the ATC's minhagim. I don't know. I have other things to take care of in the meantime, but maybe somebody wants to take that on. That I know it's very interesting. My son davens in a place in Jackson, New Jersey. It's like a suburb of Lakewood, and he davens like in a place where most of the guys there, he is, and other guys also are Lakewood BMG Talmidim or alumni. So like they have a small little, very nice minion. They have like 30 guys, and they follow the minhagim of Lakewood. So believe it or not, they have it printed. They have it printed up like formal in a formal printing, like a little book. I don't want to say a booklet. It's of all the minhagim of the Lakewood Yeshiva.
Well, you have time to do that. That's good.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying there's enough places that I know where after I closed my shul and before we moved here. So in the meantime, I just texted him last night, I'm in Rabbi Graydon's call, and they have that there because they follow the Lakewood minhagim, right? I'm just saying that they formalize, they put in a formal, like book, like like something like the Luach, you see the Ezra's Torah Luach. I have one, Rabbi Kira has one, but something like that, but it's for Lakewood. It's for Lakewood. So again, you in general we don't. But like for example, I noticed here, but most places are like this. There's no minhag like, do you stand or sit for lechadodi? Notice? So my family minhag was to stand, but a lot of people sit. But I noticed here, I looked around. If everybody would sit, I would sit. But not everybody sits.
I think most people are sitting. It's a part of the
Most people, but there's a sizable amount of people who are sitting. I don't know. Maybe you could taina that. I don't know. I have to ask Rabbi here. Maybe you could taina that if I sat, maybe I don't know. Again, this is one only here for. Yeah, I don't know. I have to ask Rabbi here again. Something like this, like if there is a minhag of the shul, so then I have to follow the minhag of the shul. But I don't know. Yeah, no, but see, that would be interesting because if we would do that. Now, see, it gets very complicated because believe it or not, Ramosha has another tshuva that you have to follow a minhag of the place. Let's say there's a minhag of a minhag.
A minhag of a minhag.
Right. So then, and then you could do whatever you want. So, for example, a great example, he doesn't say this, but I think a great example of this would be Lechadodi, because saying Kabbalah Shabbos, the whole thing, the whole thing that we say before Mizmor Shir Yom HaShabbos is not brought down in halacha. It's a recent invention. I don't want to say invention, but
it's not that recent.
it's only like it's only for us that's recent, like 400 years old. That's recent. So again, it's not. Mishnah Berurah mentioned it in a little bit, but again, it's a recent thing. So,
You want to get rid of it?
what Kabbalah Shabbos?
Yeah. You want to get rid of it?
I don't want to get rid of anything. No, I told somebody I'm not. I'm just Somebody said, "Why did do they change this and change that?" I said, "I'm not changing nothing. Like I'm just like actually one thing I'm changing this Shabbos, but I don't know if it's a change. I just noticed it, so I don't know if it's a change. Like the tea coffee room, it's open on Shabbos, so I don't know if there's tea bags, but whatever. You'll see that there'll be instant. There'll be instant tea.
Isn't that machine
the
Shabbos mode?
The story about
No, I'm not talking about that. That gadget that they have has a Shabbos mode. Yeah, I checked into that. But what I'm talking about is that there's tea bags out now. Are there tea bags out on Shabbos?
is that a problem?
According to the Mishnah Berurah, yeah. So believe it or not, it's supposed to come. I bought instant tea. So there'll be instant coffee and instant tea. I'm expecting people to complain.
The person.
Oh, I don't know, whatever.
We spoke about the new rabbi in the shul asked about, let's say about standing or sitting till the
Right.
And he asked the gabbai, and the gabbai said people sit, and the gabbai Shani said no, people stand. And they're arguing, and said, you know what? Ask. There's an old man. He's been in the shul for years. Let's ask him.
Right.
The rabbi asked him what the minhag is.
Stuff's over there.
He says the gabbaim are arguing. One says you stand, one says you sit. He says that's the minhag.
Yeah, so that's something to be said to that, right? So I don't know. I should really check up on that and ask Rabbi Kirt. Okay, let's just do a little. So again, this is very important about, like we take it for granted. Oh yeah, everybody stands for Aseret Adibros, right? So now you see it's not so simple, right? Because there's a halacha that we're worried about people saying, oh, there's only that. There's only
For the entire
laning. Yeah, so you don't have a problem. That's right. But again,
We don't,
most people don't.
no, I don't.
Oh, no, don't. There is an opinion
Most
that you
people don't.
should. Believe it or not, I do it because of, I think it's the Rama says you should, not that you have to, but they bring down a very interesting reason for saying you should feel like it's happening right then. I'm saying it right then. It's happening right then. So to me, that's very inspiring. Imagine you're sitting there, like this week's Parsha, for example. And sometimes, believe it or not, I do think about this. I can't say all the time, but imagine being there. Again, there's a whole chazal about this that the leaders slipped out the back. But imagine being with Moshe and Aaron. You're walking into Paro, right? Imagine that. Imagine, quote unquote, being a fly on the wall, right? That's some type of fly. But like imagine being there when Moshe Rabbeinu comes to Klal Yisrael and says, "Pakod pakati," and everybody believes he doesn't have to do anything. The Klal Yisrael, under all these difficult circumstances, they just bow and say, "Thank you." Right?
I didn't witness this
Amazing.
myself, but I heard that there was one during the laning of when Yosef was going. Yaakov sends Yosef to check on the brother.
Right.
A woman from the Ezra's Nashon yelled, "No, Yosef, don't go, don't go. It's a trap."
I feel like I feel like saying that, and one of my Balbatim in LA said also when they send the Meraglim. Don't do it. Don't. Imagine what history would be like. I mean, I can't say, but imagine, right? Just imagine. So again, I think something very powerful. So again, I'm not saying people should stand, but I'm just saying why I stand because I'm not saying I do this all the time, but or sometimes it's the other way. When I stand, I think to myself, come on, try to focus here, and then imagine you're there when this happens. Again, with Bracious and Shmos, and then such amazing quote unquote stories, but again, they're not stories. They're okay. We'll stop here for today, and Meretz Hashem will pick this up after Shabbos. Meretz Hashem.
Thank you so much.
After o'clock, everyone.